PSI TV helps businesses have a bigger presence by making TV affordable. Beyond ads, biz brands can now have a channel presence with their content. We are the Netflix of biz brands. If you have a passionate message, the solution to a problem, a new book or product launch, and want to impact a new and expansive audience, have your audience say, I saw you on TV. PSI TV is proud to bring you another rising star, this time in the personal development niche. Stephen Howard is my awesome guest today. He's an award winning author, editor, speaker, and executive coach. He has lived in many countries of the world, which allows him to bring a multicultural perspective to his work. Currently, Stephen lives in Southern California. Stephen, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you, Trudy. What a warm welcome.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. Stephen, you've written more than 20 books. Which of them would you say seems to be your audience favorite and why?
Oh, I love it. It's kind of like which is your favorite child, but the one I think that resonates most in today's world is called 8 Keys to Becoming a Great Leader, which is a boring title, but it's a subtitle. It's Leadership Lessons and Techniques from Yoda, Gibbs, and Captain Jack Sparrow.
Wow.
So Gibbs is a NCIS TV show on Tuesday nights. Yoda, and he's your command and control leader. Great loyalty. Yoda is your philosophical leader.
Right.
Do or do not try. And of course, Captain Jack Sparrow's get into trouble and get out of trouble type leader, situational. So everyone under 30 or 35 loves that book. It's short.
I'm 55 and I know those guys. So don't time stamp me.
No, they love it. It's 130 pages. They love it. It's quick. The examples from the shows, it's great examples of leadership.
Perfect. Well, you were the founding director of a Taekwondo center in Australia. Stephen, in your estimation, does Taekwondo or sports in general tend to help create future leaders?
I think it does, particularly both individual sports like Taekwondo, because it teaches you self-control, patience, persistence, resiliency, and then team sports, that teaches you how to interact with other human beings. If you get into leadership, like a coach position or something on a team, you now have to show some leadership skills. And the other great thing about sports, whether it's individual or team, is you're going to lose occasionally, and you have to learn to bounce back. And in the business world, not every product succeeds, not every idea succeeds, and you have to bounce back from and learn from those setbacks.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the fact that you were honing the next leaders of the next generation with that. So Stephen, you recommend that people become, actually, before I ask you that question, Stephen, in this post-COVID era, and we're kind of post-COVID, we're getting there, would you say that leadership is evolving, or if at all?
Definitely, probably faster than it's evolved in the last 3 decades or so. And the reason for that is that leaders have had to learn to become more human. We've had to learn to be more empathetic. We have to more understand that, some people working from home have children going to school and a spouse also working from home. 4 people on the internet at one time causes issues. So we've had to be a little resilient, a little patient, and certainly a little more understanding. Also, I think the way the world's going to change post-COVID. I've been telling the people I coach right now, particularly those 40 plus, in many ways you have to unlearn what you've learned about management and learn to become more human and learn to become more of a human manager. And it goes back to Yoda. Yoda said to learn, you have to unlearn what you already know. And I think a lot of us who are over 40 have to unlearn a lot of the things that we did. The focus on profits. Profits are still important, but I think people are equally important now.
And when you can't just grab them from the next cubicle, and you have to do stuff like, going across the internet for those relationships, I'm sure it matters there too.
It does. I coach people right now. I say the number one thing you should do anytime you talk to an employee is ask them, how's the family? And don't just take yes or okay for an answer, and then ask, how are you doing? And watch their body language. And then let's talk about the business. And that's a total different before, particularly in America. America, we like to get down to the point real fast. And I think we have to learn to change that.
Good stuff.
because I did a lot of research for one of my books on decision making. When the brain is stressed, the brain goes into a default mode called binary decision making. It wants A or B, one or two, black or white, yes or no. And this is what happens to leaders in the workplace at all levels, from the CEO down to a first line supervisor. They make snap judgments and they tend to a binary decision, and that's not always the best way to approach decision making. So become a first responder, slow down, ask good questions, and then decide how to make a decision, then decide how to act.
I have to say, I love your use of analogy and storytelling with the first responders, the Yoda, the Captain Pharaoh. I truly love that. I really do. I think people can quickly pick up on your point and resonate and grab the concepts really fast.
Thank you.
So, Stephen, how do good managers become great leaders?
Oh, fortunately, this thing keeps me employed as a consultant, as a coach. I think that I always tell people the best two-word phrase ever written in history, and it was above the Temple of Apollo in Athens, says, know thyself. It starts, and particularly in today's world, the more we inner reflect, the more we understand ourselves, the more we reflect on what we truly believe, what we value, the better leaders we're going to be. Somebody's talking, I watched a webinar the other day and they talk about the inner game and the outer game. And I think this is a phrase actually at Unilever. And they talk about understanding the inner game, understanding what's inside you, understanding that we have emotions. It's okay to have emotions. Understand how those emotions might be impacting our decision making or anything else. Own our emotions, and then learn how to express our emotions better. No one has the right to get, throw something across the room at the workplace, but you got the right to be angry. So the inner game, understanding yourself, is the first place. And I think the second place is continuous learning. As I just talked earlier before, I mean, leadership is changing so radically and dynamically these days. Everyone has to be on a continuous learning journey to become and stay as a great leader. So those are the two things I would focus on.
Yes, I don't think it's status quo anymore. I think things are
No,
definitely changing, and those who don't change are going to be left behind. Well,
absolutely.
well, Stephen, is there anything else that you think we need to hear?
I think the last thing I would really encourage everyone to understand, and this again came out of the research from my book called Better Decisions, Better Decisions, Better Thinking, Better Outcomes, is brain health starts in our 30s. And I'm kind of becoming an advocate for this. I mean, people think Alzheimer's and dementia is an old person's disease, and I'll worry about it after I retire. No, it's our lifestyle. For instance, men in their 40s who pack on the most abdominal fat have the highest risk of dementia in their 60s.
Hmm.
So it's what we do to our bodies, the stress, the food, the lack of exercise, not walking around. The pandemic has been terrible for this because we're not walking from meeting to meeting. We're Zooming from meeting to meeting. And so take care of your brain health today. There's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time was yesterday. Well, I say the same thing about your brain health. The best time to start your brain health would have been 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So please, this is going to become a societal issue for us. The American Medical Association predicted that Alzheimer's disease in the United States will increase by 67% in this decade, and this was pre-pandemic. So it is something we should be worried about.
The sad thing about Alzheimer's too is that you've mentally checked out, but your physical usually still hanging on for decades sometimes. So
It is financially devastating. It is emotionally devastating. I was the primary caregiver for my father. He suffered from early stage Alzheimer's in his last few years of his life. And that's kind of why I've become an evangelist for this, to spread this message that if you don't want your children having to take care of you in your 70s, you better start taking care of your brain health today, whatever age you are.
But let's sit with this for a second, because this is also an area that I have great interest in, because as we get into that next season of our life, and a lot of leaders, as they get older, they are sought out, or they should be, for their wisdom, for their ability to add that seasoning to the young whippersnappers who have the energy. But if we are not taking care of our bodies so that we can still contribute in a significant way, then even as leaders, we are missing out on depositing back that wisdom, that contribution, that is so significant. Because yes, it's great to be young and energetic, but let's not knock those gray heads, because there's a whole lot of wisdom between those ears. So
there's that. And also talking about the young whippersnappers, the younger people love to multitask, and multitask is training our brains not to focus. The inability to focus is one of the leading indicators of dementia. So basically, people in their 30s who are multitasking are just basically training their brains for future dementia, or increasing their risk for it.
Wow. Well, you've written many books. I'm sure you have a website and stuff. So, you're an executive coach, you're a keynote speaker at many events. So listen, Stephen, how can folks get your books, connect with you?
All the books are on Amazon, like everyone else, both in paperback and Kindle. Connect with me. My website's calianteleadership.com. Those who know Spanish know that caliente means hot, but it also, the second definition, means passionate. A conversation caliente is a passionate conversation. And I hope your viewers realize I'm pretty passionate about leadership and leadership development. So calianteleadership.com, everything you need to know about me, my products, my services, a lot of free resources on that website. Come join us.
And guys, that website will be up in the credits at the end. So stay tuned to make sure you don't spell it incorrectly, so you can actively go to check those resources out. Well, Stephen, it's been my honor to have you as a guest today. And hey, listen, the next time you write that next book, connect with me so we can share that with the audience too.
Sounds great, Trudy. It'll be later this year, I promise you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much.